Good morning, little hoes. My name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to start a new sort of mini series on my channel, Retail Plant Rants, the confessions of a nursery worker. For those of you who may not know, I have been in the nursery industry for about 10 years now. I am currently working at a nursery and am deeply embroiled in retail life, which, for better or worse, it is what it is. But there are a lot of things that just irritate me and things that just make me laugh with the absurdity. And I thought in this series I might share with you a bit. The point of this series is, just to rant a little bit. I think we all need that in life. I know I do. Also, maybe to shed a little bit of light on what it's like on the flip side. We're all plant shoppers. We all love to go plant shopping, but what it's like for the people that actually buy the plants, stock the plants, tend the plants, and what we can do as plant shoppers to be more considerate of them and maybe see it from their side and maybe, be more considerate as people in general. I've talked to many people also in retail, and it's something we all agree on. The world would be a lot better place if everyone at one point in their life had to be a retail worker. It just makes you a more considerate person, honestly. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? Let's dive right into it, shall we? So the first scenario is moving plants around in a nursery. And I don't mean as a nursery worker, I mean as a customer. You wouldn't think that this is something that happens a lot, but it is. There's been several circumstances where people have either taken a plant out of a display or its location, say in the greenhouse, and moved it to where they think it's a better spot for it to live. Let's talk about, first of all, I don't go into your house and move furniture around where I think it might look better. I don't know your situation. I don't know what works best for you. So don't go into a nursery and move plants around because you think you know better. The first situation was a lady moved a string of pearls in the greenhouse to a more shaded one because there was sun stress on the plant. First of all, sun stress ain't a bad thing. It's very dependent on what time of the year. A lot of people intentionally sun stress their plants to get some vibrant colors out of them. It's surprising how a lot of succulents, for instance, respond to more light, more stress. Sun stress does not mean that a plant is gonna die. So yes, this lady moved this big basket of string of pearls from one side of the greenhouse where it's more cacti, succulent oriented to a shadier spot on the other side. Now you might think, what's the big deal with this? Why is it something that frustrates you? Well, one, because I am not the only person that takes care of this particular section of the nursery. And not all of my coworkers know succulents or how to properly care or water for them. So it's important to try and group things in the nursery like with like needs, like watering, like sun. So we keep all of these succulents and cacti on one side of the greenhouse so that they don't inadvertently get overwatered. So by moving it from the cacti section to the more shaded section, this person potentially set this plant up for death. I had a similar situation several years ago with another lady and an aloe plant that was planted in terracotta, full sun in the greenhouse on the succulent side, and again was showing some sun stress. After moving it to a very shady, out of the way place in the greenhouse, she had to tell me all about what sun stress was and why I shouldn't have it in the spot I did. Madame, I know what sun stress is, and again, it's really not that big of a deal. Some of my plants, I actually... Hi, Mom. I actually see this pretty hard in the summer months, and as it starts to cool down, get shadier from the fall weather, it generally disappears with no harm to the plant whatsoever. The second scenario, though it's not as life or death as the string of pearls, is still frustrating. And this was one that happened last year to a xanthosma, I believe it was, which is a plant that's closely related to alocasias, colocasias. Well, we had several big, beautiful plants in the greenhouse, and one of these plants was maybe a little bit worse for the wear on a leaf or two, getting some brown around the edges, looking a little bit crispy at those parts. Now, the reason that it was this way, well, some customer decided that it was getting burnt in this situation and literally took apart my display for the plants and put it somewhere she thought it was more shady because it was quote unquote getting burnt. I saw that it had been moved and put it back to my display, and she had to comment about how it was not the right spot in the greenhouse for it and it was getting burnt. Fun fact, it was just fine. The reason that it was burnt was because I had to go and pick up this batch of plants from a local distributor, and unfortunately it was the middle of summer and it was super hot in my car. The wind that was flooding in my car from the windows down was probably a little bit drying and hot, and that was entirely the reason that it got a little bit crispy. It was still pushing out beautiful new leaves, but some of the older ones, again, were kind of crispy. So that just brings me to my point. Don't assume that you know better than the people that have worked there, who know what a particular spot is like in the morning versus afternoon versus evening. Potentially, there's a reason that a plant is hanging out where it is. Anyway, guys, that will be it for today's video on this. I hope you enjoyed. It's a little bit different content. Leave a comment below what you think about it. I would even love to hear if you disagree with what I've said or have thoughts to the contrary. Again, leave a comment below. As always, stay safe, healthy, and safe, and I will talk to you all real soon. Goodbye.